This is Sports and Torts with David Spada and Elliott Harris on TalkZone.com.
So, Elliott, I didn't realize all those stories that guy had.
Mudcat Grant?
Mudcat Grant.
Very interesting.
Sounds like basketball was his best sport, though.
Yeah, but as he said, baseball was the one that got him to the big leagues.
Similar to Jackie Robinson, I think. They said Robinson's worst sport was baseball. He was better in track and basketball. Football.
Yeah. It helps to have that ability.
It also helps to be 7 feet tall, though, and play basketball.
I wouldn't know what that's like. You?
No. I'm 2 inches under 6 feet. I'm not even close.
Well, we'll put you on a little crate, elevate you.
And I still can't dunk the basketball.
Right. You need other requisite skills to be able to function regardless of height.
Exactly. But there were some great big men back when the NBA started. George Mikan
and not all those big men made it to the NBA. Some of them played AAU ball because at the time the NBA wasn't the big deal that it is now. And you had a team like the Phillips Petroleum, which had some of the best players in the land.
Kind of like our next guest, Bob Kurland.
Exactly.
Basketball Hall of Famer Bob Kurland. How you doing, Bob?
Just pretty good.
I was looking here. You played on 2 Olympic teams, and You won 2 gold medals in 48 and 52. How did you end up on 2 teams?
Well, in those days, you had a playoff series between colleges, and they were semi-pro. Phil, I went to work for Phillips Petroleum Company when I got out of school, and in 1948, the rules, or the manner in which the team was chosen to go to London was that the amateur teams were still holding forth and presenting people who could play the game and would be of interest in the sport. But the pros had really not established a basis of recognition and organization to handle the Olympic team. The Olympic team. In 1948, we had to earn $50,000 with the team that we put together, made up of Phillips Petroleum Company and University of Kentucky and Vince Verla and Ray Lump, and to even make the trip. With basketball in 1948 in the Olympics was not a very powerful thing. By the time we got around to 1952, I was still playing for Phillips Petroleum Company, and when we got down to the finals of the playoff tournament, we got second place, and a guy named Wayne Glasgow and myself were chosen from the Phillips team, and we went to Helsinki. It was a time of transition and of an opportunity for those guys who were the foundation of forcing the game into one where people came to see it, were rewarded for their efforts, and had a great bunch of people and people who were real sports people and were not playing for money. When we had to go around the countryside playing exhibition games in order to raise money so that we could take the team, why we thought we were doing our part of the chores.
Now, the 66 Oilers were probably as good as most of those NBA teams back then.
Well, we in the years I played 6 years, and we won 3 national championships against teams that still had guys like Jim Pollard and Ed McCauley didn't play on any of those guys, but Don Barksdale. One of the things that it was a pleasure to really try and get some recognition for the Olympic team, because down deep there were some of us who felt like we were short until we were playing over in London, and the United States team was playing France, and they got behind, or Argentina, got behind, and we were getting a little bit antsy because we were the big dogs in the amateur world as far as amateur basketball was concerned, and that's what dominated the scene. Anyway, Don Barksdale was a black man who was could have been the hop, skip, and jump champion in the Olympics, and he chose to want to come and play on the Olympic team, and thank goodness he did, because that afternoon we were playing behind the scene with the lower score than France, and Barksdale. The real story was that Adolph Rupp was the coach that particular year, along with Bud Browning, and anyway, Adolph, which was a known fact, Adolph was not very didn't feel very good about putting black boys into the roster to represent the United States, because we didn't know how it was going to take. It was a time of transition and a development of a whole different approach and attitude toward amateur basketball, which was disappearing, and the pros were finally got in their arenas and got people with money to back up these players with and make it attractive. Other than basketball, and between the end of the war and that Olympics was kind of a nebulous thing, because we were in the process of building new arenas and establishing the money machines in order to do what they do today in pro basketball, which is a great thing, and it's a great game, and there's some aspects of it that are of interest to me, having been an amateur and getting on the floor before all the big bucks came around. But today we're playing. We're the American people are interested in seeing some mayhem on the basketball court, and I just don't agree with that. I think that the damage is done when these guys get tired at the end of the season, and they start to come down with injury, or it's pretty much a rough operation out there on that court today. Why, I think that we're going too far looking for injury rather than skill and grace in playing a game, which is a great game, which I think is one of the finest games in the world today, with what they have to play with, where they play, and how they play it. But they're getting a little bit rough, even for the big boys. And the men are bigger and stronger. My God, I weighed when we were playing the last year I played, I probably weighed about 235. And today these guys weigh 260, 265, and as strong as an ox. And the people come to the exhibition with the idea that they want to see somebody get the hell knocked out of them. And I wish David Stern would kind of find a way to alter some regulations and rules and instructions to umpires and referees to let these guys really demonstrate what they can do physically. And they're doing that today when you get the guy that's close to 7 feet tall who can double dunk that basketball, go under the rim, or throw it over the top, and gives the fans a great instantaneous wonderment, but it's not good for what the game should be about.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Kurland. I wish we had more time to talk to you and hear some more stories. Maybe next month we could call you up again?
Sure.
Excellent.
And I hope to see you at the Olympics this year in London. Maybe they'll put you back on the court for a third Olympic.
Oh, no, time has passed.
Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
You're welcome.
That was Bob Kurland. I want to thank all our guests today, Mudcat Grant, Bob Kurland, and Sherry Duffy.
Another outstanding show.
I thank our sound man extraordinaire Dave Olson. Elliott, another great show, and stay tuned again next week.